everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sacred Letters. I am an illustration artist and gamer. Doing something a bit different today, back with another Inktober video. A draw of me, but doing a bit more of a draw with me type video. While I get started with the drawing, I'm doing this today's prompt. It is day 23 of Inktober. My prompt for today is Creatues. So while I get started on this drawing, get yourself sorted out, get yourself a drink, maybe some snacks, or even go ahead and get your art supplies out and draw alongside with me, or you can just casually listen as you're doing whatever it is you're doing, because it'll end up being quite a long video, so buckle up and all that jazz. Shut my bedroom door so husband's conversations aren't overly heard. Right, so start with writing the number we're on, number 23, and we write the prompt underneath. Creatures. Now, here comes the tricky bit, deciding what to draw. I've got an idea in my head of what I want to draw. I'm going to like a wholesome scene with my main character sat with some magical creatures, maybe in a forest clearing. I think I'll do a quick sketch of the background first, maybe that'll inspire. Now, I'm not very good at backgrounds, so my backgrounds end up being quite simplistic. Okay. I think we'll draw the creature first. Maybe Pegasus. Well, yeah, we'll go with my favourite mythical creature, which is a Pegasus. So we're obviously going to draw a horse figure at first. Do you want to make sure that the feet are somewhat in the right place? So always noticed some horses do this little thing with their feet when, if they're standing for ages, they would maybe like bend one of their hoofs on the toe a little bit. So okay, my characters should be standing here. Quite close to us because she's gotten to know this Pegasus quite well. It's supposed to be quite a wholesome drawing, this one. Because some of the scenes in the fanfiction are rather intense. So I wanted to include a couple of drawings that conveyed some of her interests as a magical person. And don't worry, she's gonna be clothed, just drawing the human figure. I'm not very good at people, so give her like a long coat maybe. Okay, now to draw the wings. Now I've got the sort of pose in place, I'm going to draw in the wings now. Okay, so the wing root would be here. Sorry about that. My DSLR doesn't seem to record for very long, and it doesn't give me any sounds to actually notify me when it's about to, like, you know, close itself off. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do. I do plan to get a replacement camera, because it's no good to me if the camera cuts itself off without me even knowing it's cut off. So hopefully I can get that sorted at some point in the near future. Not sure when that will be though. I usually keep shoes pretty simple, maybe ankle boots or something. Okay, that will do for the initial sketch. Not sure how well this will turn out. But we'll give it our best shot. I suppose it's a good time as any to talk about. I suppose it's a good time as any to talk about a little bit about the drawing. I'm not sure where in her story this scene itself takes place, but the main character of the fanfiction in my Harry Potter universe, she has a great love for creatures, whether they be of magical type, or like ordinary animals. She loves them all, and one of her interests at Hogwarts becomes study of magical creatures. And she was one of the few Slytherin students who were actually quite enthusiastic about Hagrid becoming a professor. Although, like, first impressions of his class didn't go too well. Considering that Draco Malfoy kind of spoiled things a little bit. Give her a little bow here. Don't want to make her arm too thick. Although I may have made her arm a little bit too long here, so I'm just gonna shorten it just a wee bit. Cause ain't nobody got an arm that long. Well, I suppose there's people who probably will, but you know. So redraw the handy, I shall. And I'm messing up the fingers. I'm afraid hands and feet are my worst enemy when it comes to drawing. And that, half of her hand's going to be not visible because it's going to be hidden behind the other half of the Pegasus's face. The Pegasus or Pegasi? Is it Pegasi? You know, when you hyphenate or something. Anyway. So yeah, she quickly makes friends with a lot of the magical creatures that appear on school grounds. A few times she's come across some of these creatures at home during the summer, because for a while during the summer couple of summers she kept herself a lot, so she would go off wandering in the woods nearby, and she would come across various animals. Now, one animal in particular that frequents the forests near the burrow is this little guy. Because he was born in that forest, and it is believed that Pegasus return to their place of birth every now and then. So it would make sense that Rosanna would come across this animal at some point or another. After all, her and her siblings did an awful lot of exploring when they were growing up. And it's safe to say she befriended a lot of creatures that normally other wizards and witches would probably think they're too lowly to consider sentient, because they don't speak and such. But she believes full-heartedly that all creatures are sentient. So I suppose I could talk about the materials I'm using for the moment. I do the initial sketch with a regular No.2 HB pencil, which I sharpened off camera. The ink pen I'm using is a Uniball Unipin Fine Line, number 0.1. At first I was using my earlier Inktober drawings for the season. I was using a larger nib for inking the line work, but I found that wasn't working for the style of art I was going for, because I'm using watercolor brush pens. I couldn't use these in the same way I would regular markers. I had to treat them like watercolor paints. And I wanted to get that painterly effect in my drawings right from using them. So instead of so I swapped to a smaller nib for the inking the line work, which actually turned out, and we pressed record yet again. So yeah, it initially it doesn't make it look as cartoony, even though a lot of the style, like the illustration style, is like cartoony with borderline on some anime features. but I'm hoping it's more towards children's book type illustration style. So we have a good image. That's just a tree behind. Right, that's a bush. And maybe do some grass here. Sort of frame the image. And there we go. I am, as well as I'm recording on the camera, I'm also using a separate bit of software to record the voiceover. So some of the words may be a little out of context for some of the video. Hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. I'm hoping I've caught the cut-offs in time. Right, so I've done the inking and the sketching. Now to rub out the pencil lines and get to it, I'm just going to clean the eraser first, so we don't get black smudges all over my drawing, because no one wants that. Okay, that'll do. Oh, dang. Dangy. I erased part of the leggy. There we go, that's better. Can't have a Pegasus without its little leggy. But remember to keep an eye on the camera, make sure it's still recording. Almost done erasing the pencil lines. If I do draw with me videos in the future, I think it might be fun if I also do Q&As during them. That way I've got something to talk about during the video. Feel free to like let me know down in the comments what you want to do with that, if you fancy it. Right, I'm gonna put my initial sketch tools away and move them aside so I can get to the colouring. Right, to get a bit of, because I'm working with water and watercolour inks, I'm got a bit of parchment paper. It's a good tip for you guys as well, if you're working with watercolour or inks or anything like that. Put the thing underneath the page and protect the other half of your book as well. This protects the pages underneath from spillovers of the ink from this page, and in case you get any leakage through the paper. I haven't had any leakages, any bleeding through the paper onto the page behind so far, but I'm not ruling it out yet, because you never know. If you say it's not gonna bleed, it's probably gonna jinx it, and nobody wants messy. So next thing we do, I've got a flask of water that I usually carry up from upstairs, because I don't like constantly having to run up and down the stairs to the sink, because both my bathroom sink and my kitchen sink are located downstairs, so I actually don't have the luxury of being able to pop like across the corridor to a sink or a source of water. So move my mouse out the way, because that's just gonna get in the way. My cup of water a while back up from my paper, and my little palette that I have been using is actually a little £1 kids palette that I got from the range. Only £1 for it. That I've been using to water down the ink so I can do backgrounds and other things. It's been becoming quite useful. I did buy like cheap paintbrushes with it at the time, but they turned out to be useless. So I've just gone back to the old reliable paintbrushes that I already own. Okay, I think the first task would be to do the background. So let's go with bright blue, because this is going to be like a daytime scenery. So what I do is I colour in the little palette basin. Get it quite juicy. And these pens are really good. I'm using Arteza Real Brush Pens, the watercolour set of, is it 36? 36 brush pens, I think. No, 24 brush pens. I'm counting my chickens. I'm over counting my chickens and all that. Okay, so now I've put the ink in the well. And get a couple of drops of water. That dripping on the paper. And just add it to the basin. And I've got a pretty good solid amount of colour. See? Pretty good amount of colour. Right, so I'll do a quick dab of water on the pierced areas where I want the blue. One thing I haven't done throughout the series is go anywhere near this with the paints or the inks. So I usually avoid this particular space, even though I've actually drawn around it. So I would have to, I'm gonna have to like really be careful about where. There we go. There's a good chance my SD card will fill up before I finish the videos, finish recording the video. So I may end up having to come back like halfway through. This is going to be like pretty long sessions. It's probably going to be a pretty long session for the video, so. Dab my paper so it doesn't buckle too much. And that's looking very pretty. Okay, maybe add a little blue tinge to the bushes. Okie dokie, I think that will do for the blue. Right, I need to do trees in the background. So, what colour did I use last time? I think I used seaweed green last time. I might have used that one. Turtle green, maybe? Who knows? Right. So we do the same as we did before. Okay, so we'll probably want a few happy trees indicated in the background. Now this is going to be quite simple, really. Dabby dibby dabby dip, dibby dabby dibby dab, dibby dabby dibby dab, dibby dabby dibby dabby doop, dibby dabby doop. Right, I think it might be a good time to tinge the Pegasus hooves. It's indication of foresty grass. Oh, I show picture of it, I don't know. Boop 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 boop. Okay. And there we go. We're dropping things. I'm very good at that. Got a tawny brown here. kind of painting some tree trunks. Okay, so we're back. Took about half an hour to get those files transferred to the computer. So we can now continue with our lovely art. So before I had to turn the camera off and transfer those files, I was in the middle of preparing some brown to ink in some trees in the far distance. So we'll do that now. So that is that. Okay. Right, while we wait for that bit of background to dry, I'm gonna make a start on the foreground. Take my light green. It's a good opportunity actually to work on some shading. Create where they might be standing. Since the light is technically coming from above because it's not a dense wood, this section. So but further back you go is obviously going to be a little bit darker. The more covered with trees. Minimize the things so I can see what my viewfinder. That's looking good so far. Try and indicate some bushes in the background so I can hide any blemishes. So I've got seaweed green to for the bushes in the foreground. Well, it's best to start by dipping the nib in the water and then just half-heartedly doing swishes and swirls to get the leafy effect or the bushy effect. Indicate the same kind of bushes in the background too. I found the best way to do background foliage when you're not very good at it. It's just to do scribbles, basically. Keeping an eye on that camera to make sure it doesn't run out on me. Back with the green tea colour. I also want to indicate the sunlight from the trees, like casting some of the light through the trees, casting the shadow of leaves onto them. And we're back. So that's that bit done. I'm going to go back in with the tawny brown. This time I'll get the Creatues to the end, thank you. Go back in with the tawny. And bring some life into them trees. I want to get some more colour into the bushes. So that there is light coming in through the trees. Okay, now I think I should colour in the girl. I'm using peach for her skin, but the actual ink is too dark for the tone of skin I go for this character. So dip the brush in and let the ink gradually refill the nib. Just gently pat in, much like how you dab a bit of powder onto one's face. There we go. That'll do for now. without knocking over my water. Let's do the purple. Got eggplant purple. And colour in the cloak. Going for a royal blue for her jumper, but I'm going to dip it as well. Give the Pegasus a decent main colour. I have to apologise for any swearing in the background. My husband is talking to someone on their stream. So any background naughty words is not me. I usually go in a couple times with the peach, just so I get a good skin tone. Sticky bow for her, the fastener. Okay, go in for the hair. Got orange rust here. I usually use tawny for shading in red hair. And we're back. Right. Got a dolphin grey here. Dip it so it's not so intense, not as saturated. And I can go in shading various areas on the Pegasus's body, because need to make sure that it's completely shaded in here. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. Hopefully, and I hope you've still managed to stick around this far. I know I'm not the most chatty, which is why when I asked earlier if you are interested in like more videos like this from me, would you prefer it if I also used them as an opportunity to do a Q&A, a question and answer session? Because I want you guys to have a good time on my channel, so it'd be nice if I could have something to say on a draw with me type video. So if you would like to submit questions, feel free. Whether you ask the question here on YouTube or not is up to you. But I think I will leave the draw with me session here. I hope you enjoyed your time here. I'll see you next time. Bye. I just want to give a special thanks to anyone who has managed to stay around for this long. I know this was a long video to find time for, but like a video this long is inevitable with a draw with me, especially with my style of making art videos where I show almost every aspect of the drawing process from sketch to finish. So not to mention I'm not a big talker, so a running commentary is something that I do find a little bit daunting. So for those of you who have stuck around this long, thank you very, very much for watching. you have no idea how much it means to me that you are still here. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please remember to leave a like if you did, and let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you want to see more videos like this from me in the future. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, it really is appreciated. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!